Welcome to 101. I'm Greg Bassett, your host from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. It's a big day here at PAC 14. They're all big, but we have Stacey McMichael from the United Way here to talk about the campaign kickoff. Welcome, Stacey.
Thank you so much.
Now, as you know, United Way is my favorite nonprofit in town. I'm not allowed to say that out loud because it makes everyone else mad, but I love United Way.
Thank you. We'll take the endorsement.
So what is your campaign kickoff? What does this all mean to us?
So annually, we try to rally the troops at the beginning of our fiscal year, and we work with corporations all across the 4 counties that we serve to raise money so that we can then again put that money back into the community, into the programs and the population that we serve.
So how many agencies are you guys supporting this year?
We are serving 40 agencies this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember it was like 19.
Yeah, it's our most ever.
Wow. So give me a sample of what some of these agencies are that you guys are trying to help.
So we serve youth programs, so Salvation Army, Epoch Dream Center, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and then we move into financial stability where we fund some social service programs like the Salvation Army senior program and their social service program, Catholic social services. We also serve some workforce development programs and some health programs.
So if I have a charity out there and I need funding, I approach you guys and you guys sort of vet me in terms of what I do and perhaps give my group some financial support.
Absolutely, we do. In the beginning of the year, we'll make our application available to any nonprofit that has a 501(c) designation from the state. And then we will, once the application is filled out, we'll vet that program and agency with our volunteer community impact team.
And to me, what makes United Way so unique is that it's a paycheck situation where you're able to deduct money from my paycheck. I get it off of my taxes. It's like a win-win-win thing for everyone.
It is. We have had that program for many, many years, and it still is our most significant source of funding. We go to businesses, we ask them, the leadership at each business, would you consider allowing your employees to give through payroll deduction? It's so much easier to give the money when you haven't received it yet.
Right.
And also in little chunks.
Right.
If you're only giving $5 or $10 a week,
right,
it's a much more significant impact over time versus having to write a big check at the end of the year, so to speak.
Right. As an employee, you don't even notice it.
Most employees don't.
Yeah.
By the time you consider taxes and the implication there, even a $5 every 2 weeks, which is pretty significant in our world, is about $4.50.
Right. I'm always wowed when you guys go out to businesses and you give these presentations because, one, the people don't seem to know what United Way does. They don't seem to know the need in the community, and they don't know your success stories. Do you want to talk about that?
Absolutely. So last year we impacted 1 in 3 individuals in our 4-county area, which is, if you think about it, there's 212,000 people that live in Worcester, Wacomico, Somerset, and Dorchester. So if we're able to impact 1 in 3, anywhere you go in our community, you're seeing someone that's impacted either through a senior like Meals on Wheels, we're supporting that program, or youth sports, or youth mentorship programs, Big Brothers Big Sisters. They're just, with scouting and sports and mentorship and senior programs and trying to help folks get back on their feet after they've had some hardship, disaster relief. A lot of the programs that we serve are just touching a population that you don't even think about every day.
Right. And what helps me as a contributor is that you guys really vet these programs. You look at them very tough. You're kind of tough on them in terms of what they're doing and make sure that they are performing.
We do. We have 2 parts of that. We have a group of volunteer CPAs and accountants that will review all the budgets and all the financials for every organization. And then we have another group of volunteers, we call them our community impact team, who actually go out to every single agency, and after they've looked at the application, have conversation with board members, with leadership, with program managers. Oftentimes we get to actually talk to some of the participants in the program to hear the stories and how these programs have helped change their lives. And it's a process.
Right. One of the things at the annual meeting is you guys will give a presentation. You talk about a specific, anecdotal situation with someone, and I'm always moved almost to tears by these things every time. Do you have a favorite story that you'd like to share?
Well, this year in particular, we had a great story from our Wycomico Air Library System and Project READ. And several years ago, United Way was instrumental in providing funds to the library to get this program off the ground. And now we have reinitiated that partnership. And what Project READ is, it's adult literacy. It's helping folks learn everyday language that they see throughout the day and help them advance. It's really hard to get on in life if you can't read. And there's a difference between being able to read the words on the page and comprehension. And we have a lot of professionals in our community that have very low levels of comprehension. They just get by. And so this Project READ program, we had a young lady from the library that learning to read helped her to write a book. She's now a published author.
Wow.
She's also served by two other of our partners. She's served by Dove Point, and she's also served by Lower Shore Enterprises. So it's kind of nice when you get to see someone who's touched by multiple organizations.
One of the things I always that tears me up is the presentations when they talk about the Meals on Wheels. Just how important that program is beyond feeding people, just the social aspect to it.
It is, and our staff actually went out with, we partnered with the Wycomico Rotary Club, and we went out and we delivered meals for a week. And the interaction that these folks that are receiving these meals, sometimes that meal delivery person is the only person that they see all day long. And so it also gives you an opportunity to check on that person. And if you're visiting someone with frequency, you can see when there's an issue that maybe somebody otherwise wouldn't catch.
Right.
And then it gives you that referral service that you can let somebody know that this person is struggling.
The other thing United Way does, you've got fun events that are worth attending and worth participating in. Do you have any coming up that you want to talk about?
Actually, we do. We have one coming up in 3 weeks, our Halloween 5K, which is an event that in partnership with Salisbury University and the Student United Way Club there. It's a zombie-themed event. It's a hoot. We have dancers that are dressed as zombies that perform. We have a lot of students from the university that will dress in costume, and a lot of the participants, because you can run a 5K or you can just walk a mile.
Right.
So it's a family fun event, and then we have some activities when it's over, but the students really wrap their arms around this event, and it's their single largest fundraiser of the year.
Yeah, you would think it's not like a really community event because it's geared toward the students to a degree, but the student involvement is really amazing, and at your meetings too, there's this whole student contingent that's very involved with United Way.
There is, and they have a core group. Every organization has a core group of worker bees, so they have an executive committee that takes on the leadership role. But then as far as volunteers go, anything that they do, they rally between 50 and 100 volunteers for every event that they have.
Right. And I love that because you think students just come here, get their education, leave, but they actually get acclimated to the community to a degree, and they get to know more about what problems are in our community and what solutions are.
They do, and I think a big part of that is Salisbury University being a liberal arts college. I think that lends itself very nicely to that critical thinking and that getting involved aspect of liberal education.
My favorite event that you have, of course, is the only excuse I have to get dressed up and go anywhere each year, and that's the big holiday ball.
We love the holiday ball. So this year, it's probably going to be our biggest ever. We have surpassed our sponsorship goals that to date from any previous year, and we think we're going to break all records. But it's at the Hyatt in Cambridge. We can fit 525 people in that room. And we have sold out the last 3 years.
Yeah, I haven't been in a while because I can't get tickets because it sells out so fast.
It does. As soon as we announced that we're putting the tickets online, they go within a day or two.
Yeah. And it's just a fun event, and everyone comes together, and you see these people who should be caring, and they show they are caring.
It is. It's a great fun event for a great cause, but it's also an opportunity to dance, to have live entertainment, to have a phenomenal meal, and service. They have great service there, and so it's a very formal, fun event that raises money for our impact work.
And you just had that great Frisbee golf event.
We did, and it was phenomenal this year. We had 55 teams participate, and all the funds raised go to our Dolly Parton Imagination Library. It was over $20,000 this year. And Dean Goodwin from Risk Placement Services and Steve Robinson, and also Brad Sutliff from Gallagher do a phenomenal job putting that event on for us.
One of my favorites is the one in the spring, the Preakness event.
Same group of folks
Yeah.
put that event on, and we are contemplating a new venue this year. We need more space.
Right. Right. You've had it at the Brew Pub before.
We've had it at Evo the last several years, and in order to grow the event, we need more space.
That's really cool. Dine United, another great year of that.
Just wrapped up.
Yeah.
Numbers are still coming in. We had 15 restaurants participate this year and 8 hotels. And so we can't wait to see how that ends up. We should know in about another week or so what the totals are. But great engagement this year. Lots of partners in Ocean City. We can't thank Worcester County enough for helping us with that.
So many of these nonprofits, it's just like, we'll have another golf tournament. But you guys come up with fun stuff all the time. How do you come up with these ideas for these events?
You know, I don't know if it's internal that our staff comes up with it, but you know, we have a lot of partnerships and we have a lot of folks that work with us on committees and everything, and somebody will come up with an idea and we'll just try to run with it. We had a dodgeball tournament this year. We've never had that before, and it was phenomenal.
Right. So you just try stuff.
We just try stuff. We're not afraid to try something. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, move on.
Right. Why are you involved in United Way? What made you want to be part of this?
You know, United Way is one of the few organizations that can touch just about anything that you're passionate about. So, you know, we have a lot of folks that really care about early childhood education. We have a lot of folks that really care about the health and wellness of our community. There are a lot of folks that really want to help people that have fallen on hard times and want to help people get back on their feet with financial stability. And United Way is one of the only organizations that can touch all of that. And so when I started giving through payroll deduction at my previous employer, you know, I just realized I didn't have to pick one thing, that I could give and the amount of money would be dispersed over many organizations, and I just didn't have to choose. I could choose them all.
United Way is always looking to grow and do new things, tackle new problems. Where would you like to see the organization go?
Well, I don't think that we are looking to tackle new problems as much as problems are occurring all around us, and we just know that we have to step up to the plate and be part of the solution. The opioid crisis, I don't think that we ever thought we were going to be a part of that, but we are so integrated into this community. If there is a social crisis in our community, we want to be at the table.
Right. Your CEO, Pam Gregory, was involved in that study a couple years ago that really showed the level of income and outgo in our community, that we're surrounded by people in need way more than we probably even knew.
Right.
And just fascinated by that. You want to talk about that a
little bit? The ALICE Project.
Yeah.
So United Ways all across this country realize that there is a working population that is still struggling to make ends meet. You know, a lot of times people will think that the folks that aren't making ends meet are the ones that don't have jobs, and that's just frankly, it's not true. And 46% of the folks that live and work in the 4 counties that we serve have trouble meeting basic needs, because housing, transportation, healthcare, childcare, and food, we all have to have those things. And I don't know when the last time you looked to rent a property was, but
right.
It's very, very costly. Food is costly, cars are costly, insurance is costly. And so these folks that are going out there and they're working 2 and 3 and 4 jobs between the household, just trying to make all those things, come together at the end of the month. And it's a struggle, and it's particularly a struggle here on the Lower Shore.
Yeah, and those of us who are lucky enough to have achieved, had gotten some luck and had some opportunity, we all seem to have these ideas about how people should live their lives more efficiently. But when you look at that
That's true.
study and you look at where they're spending, people are having to spend money and what their incomes are, it's hard. It's hard to make those decisions every month.
It is hard, and unfortunately, a lot of our population they're making decisions like, do I buy that medication that's going to make me feel better, or do I put food on the table? And it's not really a choice, is it?
Yeah.
We have to eat. If we don't eat, we don't have good nutrition, our health is not going to improve, no matter what we do.
The other program that I just love is giving the books to the babies, mothers coming from the hospital, getting the reading thing going right away. Talk about that for me.
So Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, we adopted this program 7 years ago. And in the 7 years, we have nearly delivered 200,000 books to children on the Lower Shore, birth to 5.
Right.
And any child birth to 5 can be enrolled for free. And this is one of those programs that United Way Funds supports. We will mail the books directly to the child's home. And the best thing about this program is that the children that have been receiving this book for the beginning 5 years are now in school. And all the school systems that we work with provide us the kindergarten readiness assessments, and we know for a fact that children enrolled in this program are scoring higher on all of the levels, not just reading and literacy, but also math skills and social foundations. They're just more prepared for school than kids that are not enrolled.
It's amazing. It's a simple thing, but there's provable numbers that show that it works.
It is. And we adopted the program because we wanted to give children a leg up in starting their school careers, so to speak. But also we wanted to give them the opportunity for that interaction with a caregiver. There's an intimacy that develops when someone is sitting in your lap and reading a book. And these books they help elevate that relationship. And now the books are coming with reading guides, so they actually will tell the caregiver things to point out in the book, things to talk about in the book, and so that cognitive development can happen.
Yeah, and I've talked to some teachers in the county school system who are involved in the pre-K program, and they say that the kids that have come in with this books program are definitely better prepared. Even anecdotally, they know this.
Absolutely, and we kind of always hoped that that's what would happen, but now we have the statistics to back it up.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about United Way is that on the form you can designate the groups that you want your money to go to. And I just think that's terrific, because I always check Salvation Army for everything.
Right.
And I wonder if that's really the right thing to do, or what's your feedback on that?
Well, of course, we want to give folks a choice. And some folks are very passionate about, coastal hospice or something that has touched their personal lives. But we also think that we do a pretty good job of vetting every agency. And so just to be able to steward those donor dollars and say to you, if you want to designate your money to the charity of your choice, please feel free to do that. But if you think we do a good job of vetting them all, then let us make those determinations from the total amount that we have to give.
Right. What can we in the community do to help United Way?
Advocate for us, spread the word, talk about our partnerships and collaborations. Give us an opportunity to come in and talk to your workforce about what we do. And even if it's not in the campaign realm, even if you're not going to offer the group payroll deduction, maybe it's a civic club or something like that, we'd still love to share our message and our impact.
My favorite nonprofits are Habitat for Humanity. You mentioned Coastal Hospice. When I think of the real good Coastal Hospice did for me and my family, it's just amazing, and I'll do anything to support them. Salvation Army, just so many great groups are all involved with you guys.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, 40 new partners this year. So we brought on some new ones. We have some standbys. We're celebrating our 75th birthday this year.
Right, you talk about that.
And
yes.
So we were incorporated in 1944. And in our first funding cycle, we had 7 partners. And out of those 7 partners, 4 are still with us today.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
That's amazing. Oh, we had Lyle Hogg on from Piedmont. on a show, and we forgot to ask him about United Way, but he's a big proponent of United Way, and they do the jet pull, and his employees, 10,000 employees, contribute to our United Way here. Just an amazing partnership there with Piedmont.
It is an amazing partnership, and they do that jet pull in every single market that they're in.
Right.
So it's not just a Salisbury event, and it really gets the community involved in a fundraising event at Piedmont, and you get a chance to see some of the behind the scenes and the hangar, and it's very cool.
And it's not always the team from the local gymnasium that wins.
It's often not the team from the gym.
Which I think is just terrific with that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Purdue Farms has been just so great for you guys.
Purdue Farms has been one of our staunchest allies for many, many years, going back to the early 50s with A.W. Purdue and Sons. And actually this year they even stepped up a little bit further and are our anniversary campaign sponsor. And we are on November 14th, we will be having a ribbon cutting at United Way, and we will be naming our conference space after the Purdue's.
Well, excellent.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What are some of the other great sponsors you have?
So we also have Avery Hall as a major campaign sponsor for us this year, and we actually are naming our smaller meeting space after Avery W. Hall. He was instrumental in bringing the community chest, which is now the United Way of the Lower Eastern Shore, to the area. And then First Shore Federal has for many years been our leadership circle sponsor, and PNC Bank is our Anchor Society sponsor. So we could not do the things that we do in the community without these corporate sponsors.
You want to do the Today in History column paper, for the newspaper. I see the community chest, and there'll be stories like, we're hoping to raise $8,000 this year, and now it's $2 million or whatever it is. It's just amazing how this group has grown and the impact has changed so much.
It is. And fun fact, the next time you play Monopoly and you see the little community chest
box
piece,
yeah.
Play piece, that is an ode to United Way.
Yeah, that's amazing. So as you wrap up your campaign year, there's a big thing at Shorebird Stadium?
It is July 19th, 2020. We're going to have a community celebration to kind of commemorate our campaign year, our anniversary year. And the Shorebirds have been amazing partners for us, and so we're going to take over the stadium. Family fun event.
That's great, something to look forward to next summer.
Right.
She's Stacey McMichael. We're thrilled that she was here today to talk about United Way. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I'm Greg Bassett from the Salisbury Independent newspaper. Another edition of 101 right here on PAC 14.
First Shore Federal is proud to support PAC 14 and one-on-one. We'd encourage every business to support PAC 14 and pick a program and support it, and let's make a difference.